Hey y'all, and welcome back to the channel. We're so excited to have you here with us today. Today, we're diving into something close to my heart, farming, but not just any kind of farming. We're talking about small space farming. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You need a big old homestead to make that happen, right? Acres of land, heavy machinery, and endless resources. Well, that's where you'd be wrong. You don't need a sprawling estate to grow your own food. In fact, you can start right where you are, no matter how small your space is. You see, it's amazing what you can achieve with a little bit of ingenuity and a whole lot of love, even in the tiniest of spaces. From balconies to rooftops and even sunny windowsills, the possibilities are endless. Whether you have a balcony, a rooftop, or just a sunny windowsill, the dream of growing your own food is totally within reach. Imagine stepping out onto your balcony to pick fresh herbs for dinner or harvesting juicy tomatoes from your rooftop garden. So, if you're ready to get your hands dirty and experience the joy of fresh, homegrown goodness, stick around. We're going to show you how to make the most of your small space and turn it into a thriving garden. We're about to unlock the secrets of small space farming with 7 practical tips that'll have you well on your way to creating your own little slice of farm fresh heaven. From choosing the right plants to maximizing your space, we've got you covered. So grab your gardening gloves and let's get started on this exciting journey together. Y'all know how much I love transforming something old and forgotten into something beautiful and useful. It's like giving a second life to things that would otherwise end up in the landfill. And there's something so satisfying about seeing the transformation, right? Well, today we're going to talk about doing something similar, but for your garden. Well, composting is kind of like that, but for your garden. It's the process of taking organic waste and turning it into something incredibly valuable for your plants. Imagine turning your kitchen scraps into rich, dark compost that can help your garden thrive. It's like magic, but it's all science and nature working together. It's about taking kitchen scraps, things like veggie peels, coffee grounds, and even those eggshells you usually toss out, and turning them into this magical, nutrient-rich goodness that your plants will absolutely adore. And it's not just limited to kitchen waste. You can also add yard waste like leaves and grass clippings, eggs, coffee grounds, veggie peels. All these things can be transformed into compost. This nutrient-rich goodness is like a superfood for your plants. It improves soil structure, helps retain moisture, and provides essential nutrients. Your plants will thank you with lush growth and bountiful harvests. Now you might be thinking, Joanna, I live in a tiny apartment. Where in the world am I going to compost? I get it. Space can be a real issue, but don't let that stop you from composting. There are plenty of solutions for small spaces, and to that I say, don't you worry. There are so many options out there that make composting accessible to everyone, no matter how much space you have. You don't need a big backyard to start composting. There are these amazing compact compost bins made just for small spaces. These bins are designed to fit in tight spots, like under your kitchen sink or on a small balcony. They make it easy to compost even if you're living in an apartment. You've got your bokashi bins, which are great for fermenting food waste. Bokashi composting is a method that uses a special brand to ferment your food scraps, including meat and dairy, which you usually can't compost. It's quick, efficient, and perfect for small spaces. And then there are worm bins. Those little guys are like composting machines. Worms, especially red wigglers, are fantastic at breaking down organic material. They munch on your scraps and turn them into the richest, most wonderful fertilizer you can imagine. Plus, it's a great way to teach kids about nature and recycling. They munch on your scraps and turn them into the richest, most wonderful fertilizer you can imagine. Worm compost, or vermicompost, is packed with nutrients and beneficial microbes that help your plants grow strong and healthy. It's like giving your garden a natural boost. And the best part? Composting not only gives your plants a boost, but it also reduces waste and helps the environment. It's a win-win-win, y'all! By composting, you're diverting waste from landfills, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and creating a sustainable cycle of growth. So, let's get started and make our own compost. Your garden and the planet will thank you. All right, y'all, let's talk vertical. When you're short on square footage, the only way to go is up. Vertical gardening is like this secret weapon for small space farmers. It's all about training your plants to climb, drape, and basically make the most of every inch of vertical space you've got. Think lush walls covered in cascading herbs, vibrant trellises bursting with juicy tomatoes, and charming hanging baskets overflowing with colorful blooms. It's like bringing the beauty of a garden wall indoors or onto your balcony. And the best part? Vertical gardening isn't just practical, it's downright gorgeous. It adds this whole other dimension of beauty to your space. Now let's talk about being smart with our space. Just like we carefully arrange furniture to maximize flow and function, we can do the same thing with our plants. Companion planting is all about pairing up plant buddies that not only get along, but actually help each other thrive. Think of it like this. Basil and tomatoes are like the best of friends. They grow beautifully together, and the basil actually helps repel pests that might bother the tomatoes. It's like built-in pest control, y'all. There are tons of these plant friendships waiting to be discovered. Do a little research, grab a companion planting chart, and get ready to watch your garden flourish. Chapter 4. Hydroponics, Farming Without the Farm. Now this one might sound a little fancy, but trust me, it's not as complicated as it seems. Hydroponics is basically the art of growing plants without soil. Yep, you heard that right? No soil. Instead, you're using a water-based nutrient solution to give your plants everything they need. It's perfect for small spaces because you can grow things vertically, indoors, and even year-round. Imagine having fresh lettuce in the middle of winter. Talk about a game changer. There are all sorts of hydroponic systems out there, from simple DIY setups to more elaborate ones. Start small, experiment, and see what works best for you. Chapter 5. Aquaponics, where fish meet veggies. If you thought hydroponics was cool, wait till you hear about aquaponics. This method takes things a step further by adding fish into the mix. It's like creating a mini ecosystem right in your own home. Basically, you've got your fish swimming around in a tank, and their waste products provide nutrients for the plants growing above. Then the plants help filter the water for the fish. It's a beautiful, symbiotic relationship that's as fascinating to watch as it is productive. Plus, imagine having fresh fish and veggies all year round. Now that's what I call living the good life. Chapter 6. Small Livestock, City Slickers Gone Country. Now who says you can't have a little livestock even in a small space? Don't worry, I'm not talking about bringing home a whole herd of cattle. But chickens, quails, or even rabbits? Totally doable. These little critters are surprisingly low maintenance and can provide you with fresh eggs, meat, or even manure for your garden. Plus, there's something so rewarding about raising your own food, don't you think? Just be sure to check your local ordinances and provide your animals with a safe, comfortable, and humane environment. Chapter 7. High-yield crops, small space, big rewards. When you're working with limited space, it's all about choosing plants that give you the biggest bang for your buck. That's where high-yield crops come in. These are like the overachievers of the plant world, producing an abundance of food in a relatively small area. Think leafy greens like lettuce and kale, which you can harvest multiple times throughout the season. Or how about tomatoes and herbs, which are practically bursting with flavor and freshness? And don't forget about vertical growers like pole beans and climbing peas. They'll make the most of your space while adding a touch of whimsy to your garden. Well, there you have it, folks. We've just scratched the surface of what's possible in small space farming. 7 practical and inspiring tips to help you transform even the smallest of spaces into a thriving farm. Whether you have a tiny balcony, a small backyard, or even just a windowsill, there's always a way to grow your own food. Remember, it doesn't take acres of land to experience the joy and fulfillment of growing your own food. The key is to start small and gradually expand as you gain more confidence and experience. With a little creativity, a whole lot of love, and maybe a few power tools, you can create something truly special. Think vertical gardens, hanging planters, and even hydroponic systems that maximize your space. So go on, get your hands dirty, and watch your small space farming dreams blossom. Don't be afraid to experiment with different plants and techniques. Each small success will bring you closer to a bountiful harvest. Now I'm dying to know, which of these tips are you most excited to try? Is it the idea of creating a vertical garden? Or perhaps starting a small herb garden on your windowsill? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. 7 creative farming hacks to save time and money. We'll dive into innovative ways to make your gardening journey even more enjoyable and efficient. Happy farming, y'all! Remember, every small step you take brings you closer to a greener, more sustainable lifestyle. Let's grow together.